Welcome to today's podcast. We're going to be talking about iron sharpeneth iron. Show me your friends, and I will show you who you are. I think we have all heard about this. There's no way you haven't heard about it. This isn't the first time you're hearing about it. It is much more of like a mathematical certainty. Think you are strong enough to remain ambitious while surrounded with complacent people. And I think people who have ambitions really struggle with this. You said, "Oh, my friends are nonchalant, but I have a vision, I can achieve it." You think you can build a skyscraper while your closest associates are digging the holes? You are wrong. We are being deceived by a false sense of loyalty. And I think if you want to build something great in life, and I think that you should consider changing your circle of friends. If your circle of friends are not going to where you are going to, it needs to be loyal to them or loyal to your vision. And most times that's a struggle most people have. This sense of loyalty to either their vision or to their friends. Most of us are being currently held hostage by nice people. I, and people who love you, right? But most times they have no vision for where you are going. When you explain your vision to them, they'll tell you, "Oh, this is too big, it's not achievable," and they don't even understand. Or most times they just genuinely do not understand. And most times you don't have the right words to put it into context for them to understand. They are like the crabs in a bucket, not because they hate you, but because what you want to do, what you want to build, most times threatens their comfort. Or most times they don't, do not understand it. That's why most times when you tell people or people that have done great things, their parents most times you're not able to explain your idea to your parents. And most times if they see you working on that vision, they're like, "Oh, I there's a probability for you to fail. Maybe don't do this." They mean well for you. It's not that they have a negative desire towards you or they do not believe in you, but they see the potential of you failing and they're trying to protect you from it. Well, that's not necessarily what you need. So today we're going to talk through about your social circle. Some of the things we're going to be sharing is painful, and most times it will be lonely. That's why people say it's lonely at the top. There's this, conversation that not necessarily is lonely on your journey to the top, right? Because you need to either be loyal unless you are blessed with good friends. That's another thing. There are people that have friends that are not, they might not understand your vision, they might not understand where you're going, they might not even get the idea, they can't even explain it, but they are okay with you. They encourage you when you share, even though they don't understand. Some people are genuinely blessed with those type of friends, right? They encourage you whether they understand it or not, and they willingly wish you well. And they might not have the best ideas, but if they see a way to improve on your vision or your ideas, they would share. It's now up to you to say, "Okay, I don't think this is applicable to me." But some people are blessed with those genuine friends, and that's most times the exception, right? Some people don't have that. We are usually surrounded by maybe people who grew up with, people who we work with, people we came from the same place. You came from the same place, so we are usually together. You go to the same church, you have the same social circles. But you want to do an outstanding thing. Most times, those people will not be there for you. They wouldn't understand you, and I think you should be fine with that. I think you should learn to be fine with that, right? The first point here is the law of proximity, right? The atmosphere of greatness. And before I get into my points here, I want to say it both ways, right? Because I've experienced both sides of it. People who didn't grow up with any connections, you don't know people. I also want to share that context because I struggle with that. I knew that I needed to be in the rooms that were people that understood what I was doing, what I was building, some of the great things I wanted to do, how I wanted to help the community, and some of the things I wanted to build, the business I wanted to build, and things like that. But I didn't have that opportunity by birth, right? Or by connection or by school. And I'm still working my way up through those connections. But I want to share something. A good way to understand this thing is one, to make peace with the fact that you're going to be by yourself for a long period of time to be able to gain access into those places, right? Two, the internet is one of the groundbreaking things in the universe in this day and age. You would have opportunities to watch courses, to follow conferences that you would never have. Your connections would never open those doors for you. You would listen to people speak. I think we also kind of neglect the importance of, you will listen to people speak that it might not have been ever possible for you, right? I love listening to Tony Robbins, right? I might never have, maybe I would in the future, but currently I might never have been able to buy a conference ticket to watch him speak live. But there's YouTube, and I can literally take out one Sunday and just play his entire tracks throughout. That is a good connection, and we're also trying to solve that for that at the builders low. But that's different. But that is something you need to make peace with, that you are going to be by yourself for a long period of time. So you need to build the mental fortitude to do that. Two, the internet has amazing resources. There are amazing communities that you can find. And three, if you can't find a community, start yours. That's the thing. Start yours. And you take it up from there. So it's my point. So everything in the universe is subject to the environment. A human being's character, a human being, right, is made up of law, nature, and nurture. So how you were given birth to, nature, what you came with, if you came with 2 legs, 3 legs, whatever, nature and nurture. And environment is a crucial role. I know as microbiologists in school, we kind of try to study which of them had the overplaying role, right? Which of them is most likely to influence the outcome of an individual. But that's up for debate. But I think that our nature are things. Myron explains it this way. Your nature is something that you can't negotiate. We can't negotiate where we are born, where we're giving birth to, who our parents are, who our siblings are. You have no say in some of those things. But what you have control over is your environment, right? So that's what you should be focused on, not necessarily on your nature. You can't control your gender, how you were giving birth to your gender. But what you should focus on is your environment, what you have control over, not what you have no control over, right? So a seed can have a potential to become a giant oak, but if you plant it in a desert, it will die as a shrub, right? Your mind is a garden. That's something I have learned. Your mind, you need to, where the whole battle of the whole earth is happening is in the mind. So you need to heed your mind. You need to intentionally, and most times we don't like that. We like entertainment, and yes, sometimes you take a break, and for me by entertainment could be movies, right? So you take a break and entertain yourself, but you need to be conscious. Even within those entertainments, you need to be conscious of what you are feeding your mind. Remember, example, if you don't have access to connections, what you have access to are materials to feed your mind. You also need to pay attention that, okay, I might not be able to have money to pay for these conferences, but don't go and watch weird entertainment that's going to destroy what you don't even have already. You see that, right? Your mind is a garden. Every conversation, the Bible talks about it, that take heed what you hear and how you hear. So you need to be mindful of who you are listening to. I think that as individuals, whether we're trying to be loyal or we're trying not to be, especially in Africa, trying to be disrespectful, you have to be careful of who you are listening to. And most times, so listening and hearing are different things. You might be sitting in a conversation that you cannot walk away from, right? But that conversation can pass through you without you picking up a word. That's also one thing you need to learn to train yourself in. You need to be careful what you are listening to. Proximity matters. Who you are. And Alex Moses talks about it this way. As Africans, we have respect and we're supposed to honor our parents. But most of them do not understand what you're building. They do not understand your ambition. They have different ambitions they're trying to push on you. They have different ideas. And they lived in different times. Right? But that's not to say that when you have shared your idea with them, they will get it. And even if they don't get it, and they've shared all the 10 things they think you will get wrong and why you shouldn't do the idea, and most of those conversations, you can't walk away from them. But one thing to be careful about is how it filters into your mind, right? And it's not to say that there won't be some reason, a sense, something you can take away from the conversation, but not to absorb yourself in that conversation. I was getting to my point, and as Moses talks about it this way: if you are giving me an advice, right, I would look at your life and place a value on the advice you're giving me. If your life doesn't depict where I'm going, right, that's not to say you can't learn anything from everyone, right? But if you are making a strategic advice, you can learn from a mad person. You can learn from people who are not where you are going to. You can learn things from them, right? But if you are giving me an advice, a strategic advice, and your life has no inkling, right, to where I want to go, I will take that advice with a pinch of salt. You might make a sense, and you might make sense, and that's okay. But your advice, I will really take it with a pinch of salt. In Africa, in religious society and cultural societies, we listen to and we take advices from people who do not have the life that we are aspiring for because of respect. Why? I think that's sad. But that aside, so you have to be careful of the conversations. Every WhatsApp group you belong to that does not serve you, I have a list of groups I've archived, right? But for example, you just have to be there. There's nothing you can do about it. Don't meditate on those things, right? So everything you link up, every conference you attend, every word you are sharing, every conversation you are sharing, you need to be careful about what you are listening to. Jesus talks about it this way: what defiles a man is what comes into him. It's not just what comes into him, but what comes out of him. How does something get into a man? What he listens to. What is the gate? What is the entrance into your mind? Your ears, your eyes. Those are the two entrances that we should always be intentional about guarding. Even as I watch movies, I'm like, this movie has nothing. What is the undertone? What is this movie normalizing? How you just close it? You walk away. You have the mental fortitude to walk away from conversations that do not serve you, that do not advance your life, that do not contribute to the society. Permission to leave the group, right? Jim Rohn talks about it this way: people are time wasters. They are going to waste your time. There are conversations that are time wasters. They are people's. It's not that you are not mutual, you are not interacting with people, but people are time wasters. You need to realize that. You need to figure out people in your life who are not who are not contributing anything, but they are taking away your time. You can gain back any other thing in this world, but not your time. And time is weird. Time is constrained by energy. Everybody has 24 hours in a day, but you are not maximally productive 24 hours in a day. Why is it that time you wanted to work on your idea, on your project, that you are gisting? Somebody came with gist that time. And that's the thing. After that gist, you don't have strength again. You are exhausted. You are not in the mood anymore. Right? So you need to pay attention to this. Right? You need to pay attention to loyalty to your past. There are people that you are cordial with, but they're not going where you're going. It's not that you don't keep in touch, but you pay attention to how those conversations, how those communications, how those relationships affect what you are doing. Right? So, loyalty to your past versus loyalty to your future. Right? So, if you are the most ambitious person in your circle, you are in the wrong group, right? You need to be surrounded by people who are, I don't want to use the word grinding, who are working towards their own goals, even though those goals might be very, very different. Yes, there's a need to stay around communities of people who have similar goals like you, but then also people who are ambitious, people who would celebrate you, who would understand your pain, your challenges, and encourage you, right? Because they are all going through that, right? If nobody around you is talking about, example, if you're interested in things like this, nobody around you is talking about building systems, global impact, generational legacy. People are only concerned about what they're going to eat, what they're going to drink, what they're going to wear. And you're here talking about your generation. Trust me, a few years down the line, you're also going to be talking like them. That's the thing, right? You need to breathe the air of where you are going. If you can't afford it yet, conferences. Listen to people. And I think that's the beauty of internet. I don't think anybody has any excuse anymore, right? Once you have data, connect yourself with the right people. Right? You need to find people who don't just accept your big dreams, but who make your big dreams look like this is achievable. You would say in 10 years, I want to do this and this. Say, why not make it 5? That motivates you. That helps you try. And I'm also going to digress here a bit and talk about entering relationships. I think people who are already in marriages you're already stuck with it. But if you are actually not currently in marriage, to think about it. I think my pastor talks about this. Aligning yourself with values. Values could also be a lens of thinking about life. If you are a young lady, you have inspiration, you are striving, you are saving up money to, for example, start up a big, I'm not sure I'm referencing fashion again, start up a big fashion house in Nigeria that is exporting globally. Let me say an example. I don't know if you're familiar with this, Vicky James, something like that. That's what you are thinking of day and night. You are trying to learn how to sew, you are trying to learn how to design, you are practicing, you are posting your content. Then because of pressure of society, you've joined yourself. Unequally yoked doesn't just mean in terms of Christianity, in terms of believing Jesus as your Lord and personal Savior. It's also in terms of your value. You not end up with somebody, you join yourself, because that's the thing. Nobody just you willingly join yourself with somebody who doesn't have that view of life, who is saying, let's focus on what we're going to eat first. How would that person save? How would that person invest? How would that person understand that you need to go for that program for 2 days and take care of your 2 children? How? And I think as ladies, I'm digressing, but as ladies, we don't have those conversations. We are like, okay, so aside from somebody that will give you money, somebody that will understand your dreams, the scale of your dreams, somebody that is willing to hold space for you while you are pursuing your dream, someone that will celebrate you, someone that will not compete with you. I think that even having weird friends, friends that are not going where you're going is manageable. You would say after you producing outside, you leave it there and come back home. But in your own house, I mean, in your or in the person's house, someone here is like dining with your enemy. That the next idea you're going to share is going to be crushed down. He's going to say, why do you want to do this? What's the reason? You will see that's ambitious. It's like sleeping with your enemy. So I think we should be mindful of that, especially as ladies. Don't let people pressure you on those things, because those people, I think someone did a skit online about how as ladies we are pressured through seasons, and I'm digressing, but let me say this here. You are pressured through seasons and you see yourself when you are much older, you've not achieved anything, you are feeling miserable. I'm not sure how if we understand God's position on things like that. Unless your purpose in life is just to do a certain thing, right? Is to, for example, just nurture your children and get them in the fear of the Lord, and they become, maybe God is trying to nurture that child to become, for example, the president of the country. There's no other purpose attached to your life. I'm saying, for example, that the sole purpose, the sole reason God made you in this life is just to, example, nurture your children, and that's just it, and care for your household. If you get to God, if you've read the parable of the talents, right, and you get to the throne of God, and God is going to ask you what you did with all your talents that He gave you, your voice, your beauty, your wisdom, you are going to say you only use it to train your child. If let's say that's the only thing you achieved now, because that too is an achievement on its own. But let's say that's the only thing you achieved, and you're going to say the voice He gave you, the beauty He gave you, the school He even helped you, like maybe you were never supposed to go to the school, but God connected you, the connections you have, you did not do any other thing with it, any other thing. And most times when you listen to some of these women's stories, also because they were with the wrong people. Maybe if they were with the right people, the person would have encouraged them, this is your voice. When are you going to do this song? When are you going to do this music? I would help you to produce it. Maybe if they were with the right people, that would materialize. But we don't understand the gravity of these things, that any talent that you are given, you are going to account for it. You are literally going to account for it, unless you want to be called a wicked and a slothful servant, when all your life you spent it, going up and down, doing all. You are stressed. You are coming here to rest, but they are calling you wicked and slothful, and they are casting, and God is casting you into utter darkness. What's the essence of all your struggle? And I think this is applicable to already those who are not yet married, because if you're married, I'm not sure what else you're going to do. But I am saying this, if you need to think critically about it, that whoever you choose, if you have big dreams, whoever you choose is going to support you, accommodate that, and understand that you are going to account for these dreams and these talents. Think about it. I digressed a lot. The third thing is different class of associates. That's also another thing. You need to be able to recognize that even when you have connections, people are different and people's roles in your life differ. And you must learn to categorize people, right? When people come into your life, or when you are, after this podcast, auditing your relationship, you need to categorize the people. You need to say, who are my friends? What is this person good for? What's this person not good for? And you deal with them according to that, right? For example, there are people who are, what I have here is social vampires. They talk about what they bought, who they are dating, what's the latest celebrity gist. They occupy your time. Those gists are good. There is nothing. You want to keep abreast of what's happening. But then there's no value to your mission. Then you spend 5 hours a week with consumers, consuming your own future. Most times it's not that you get rid of relationships, but you are mindful. You're like, okay, I'll meet this person only on Sundays in the evening when I've done all my work, I've done everything, I just want to relax. I'll go and gist. Right? There are people who are comforters. They are the most dangerous people. They are nice, but when you fail, they'll say, it's okay. Maybe I told you. Well, you try your best. When you're tired, they will say, take a break. This word no be here. Take a break. They provide you with an aesthetic to your ambition. They want to say, they want you to stay ordinary, right? So that they don't feel guilty. And we know, deep down in our hearts, we know all these people, right? If you said, I wanted to do, let me use an example, content creation, but there was no light, they will say, it's okay now. You've tried your best, you tried. Tomorrow you go again. But another person would have said, maybe there's lights in my house. You can still come and use my house. These are two different people. You need to learn to categorize people, right? They are the third set of people. They are the people who don't care about your feelings. Example, they will say, I wanted to do content today, but there was no lights in my house. I say, you can come to my house now. Mm-hmm. You now say, I don't have transport. Now say, but that money you wanted to use to eat inside and then use the money for transport and come. They don't necessarily care about the feelings, but once you have those goals and you share with them, they will support you. They will do whatever, they will inconvenience themselves to make sure that you achieve that. Right? So I'm not saying here that your consumer friends or people who don't contribute anything in you, that you get rid of them, but you understand your vision comes. Let people also know that to you, that what you are building, your goals come up. If they not fit into it, it comes up. You prioritize that. They say, let's call her Saturday. You're like, she's doing her whatever. Leave her after. People will also have, and there are people that have respect. They will know that they're not contributing to it, but they have respect for your time. Right? So you need different types of people. You need people who would support you, push you. Because also as human beings, sometimes we are looking for people who validate our tiredness, validate our need to take a break. You need them, all types of people. You need people that will also push you, who will make you uncomfortable, who, even if they don't want to make you uncomfortable, the things they are doing in their lives is like, wake up and go and do something. Right? So they are going to make it uncomfortable, make it motivate you to take action. You need those kind of people. They will sharpen your edge. If you make a video, they will say, this is where you improve it, this way you improve it. There are also people like us that might not have all the entire friends. You need to be that to yourself, right? You need to be able to encourage yourself. You need to be able to motivate yourself. And I'm going to also talk about it in some other episodes. And yes, I've said all the things I've said. Most people are afraid of leaving their current circle because you're afraid of being lonely, right? But if you're going to do any great thing in life, I think this is something that you need to come to that realization. There's really no one around you. There's nothing I'm going to say that's going to change your mind. But you need to realize that it is you and God. You need to come to that realization. And that people, so that it also help you that people come and go. God can send people and you don't make them idols. You don't cling your life to them. You don't say if they leave you, when people say if somebody leave you, they will die. Like, right? So it will also help you when you know it is you and God, right? And God heals you, delivers you from people. When He brings people to you for that season, people have their friendships that you have for a season. There's a time that maybe all your season you didn't have friends, but you got married, you moved into this neighborhood, now you have this good friendship, right? There are things like that, right? So you need to be okay with being lonely at the top. Somebody said it's lonely at the top, it's lonely on your way there too, right? But the view is magnificent, you are fulfilled, right? And you cannot take everyone with you. Some people are dead weight. That's the truth. Most people are time wasters. They are time wasters. The office gist is not. You ask yourself, this gist I heard now, what has he helped me do? Nothing. Right? They are time wasters. You must be able to say no. Oh, I learned this. And I tested it out. People that pass tasks to you, you are closing from work, for example, you have your 9 to 5. After your 9 to 5, you spend time doing example content creation, but somebody is always calling you for something. It's always trying to pass. I cannot do it. Help me and do. Learn to say no. Your vision matters. Learn to say no. Learn to decline invitations at the table where the only menu is gossip and single-mindedness. That's not being arrogant. That is stewarding your time. God gave you an assignment, something to build, an idea. And also, I think we've been teaching this in church recently, and I want to share it here, which is also that 1, God gave you an assignment. 2, you have to account for the talent He gave you for that. 3, if you don't do that, somebody else will. God, there are literally billions of people on this earth. If you say you're not going to build the app, God is going to find someone else to build the app. Trust me. And He might never ever tell you any other thing to do. Some people walk around mindless in the air. There's no, even if they pray, there's no vision because the one they gave them, they lost it because they were not doing anything about it. Right? So if you fail because you are too busy trying to be one of the girls, one of the boys, you will answer for your wasted potential. Right? This might be a season of an isolation, but you will go through it. And I think that for someone like me who didn't have much friends and who grew up as an only child, I think I was okay with loneliness. I dealt with it. I enjoyed my own company. When I go out, I can be social, but when I enjoy your own company. Learn that isolation is part of what is required. I know for years. And be okay that as you grow older, you would have friends, right? And it will be friends for the right reason. I used to tell myself that if I had friends Sunday that I'm making this video, I would have been outside doing something fun. Right? So think about it. So let the isolation, use it as a season to build, to work on things, all the things you want to do. Use your season of singleness, season of unmarried, that you're married, season that do something, work on something. Because you know that seasons change. There will be seasons when I will not have the quietness, the opportunity to sit down for hours and do things like this, right? So enjoy your season. And let's talk about what to do after watching this episode. Look at the people you call on your phone. Your phone is a good record. People you spend hours, there's nothing like catching up, but people you spend hours on the phone with for the last 7 days. Identify the top 5 people you speak to, right? Beside them, write one tangible thing these people have done or have achieved in the last 12 months. I talked about it. Taking advice, strategic advice from people who don't have anything. People who are not going where you are going. I think that's the principal thing, right? Not what they plan to do. Write one tangible thing these your 5 people have achieved. And most times it might not be big. It might just be that this person consistently posted example on social media for the past 30 days. This is remarkable, and I'm just starting. I want to do this, right? You need to write what they think they achieve. Identify if they are just a consumer, someone that's eating away your time, or if they're always comforting you, you did not do the thing, they'll tell you it's fine. Or people who, help you, people who make you uncomfortable, motivate you to act. Politely this week, learn to say no. Learn to say no. Someone say, I'm coming to your house, I have gist for you. You say, no, I'm doing something. I will call you later. Learn to say no. Exercise that muscle. Exercise the muscle to say no. Even though that, I really want to hear this, just exercise that muscle. Right? Learn to say no. Find one person in your industry, your city, who is ahead of you, right? Not a celebrity, but somebody who wants to do what you're doing. Unless you want to be a celebrity, that's your lifelong goal. So find someone who's ahead of you. Find a way to be useful to them. Don't ask to pick their brain. Offer to do something. Do something for them and learn what they're doing. Offer. Make offer. Right? If you can't change your atmosphere, you can't change where you're going. So I'm closing up this podcast with saying you are not made to fit in. You are made to stand out. Stop apologizing for your ambitions, your goals, your dreams. Get away from fire extinguishers. Find some fuel in your life. I know what it's like to walk alone until the right people show. Keep walking. The right people will show. And I'm closing this also encouraging you that even if you don't have the right friends now and you are just by yourself, just keep moving forward. The right people will show up. Thank you. Up until next time. See you on the episode. See you on the Builders Podcast. Cheers. Bye.